Okay, YouTube, here we go again. I wanted to show you guys something. I wanted to show you guys something I stumbled across, if I can talk. Over here in the Alienware Command Center, you bring it up and you go into Fusion, which is your overclocking. And one thing I noticed is that I messed around with overclocking once, and my memory, which I bought the, not the 2900, but the 3200 megahertz memory. It's supposed to be running at 3200, it's not, it's running at 2600. And the first thing I'm going to do in this video is show you how to fix that if your memory is not running up to the correct speed. So like I said, you go to Alienware Command Center, and then it'll bring you to the home screen. You go over, the FX is the lighting, the Fusion is for the overclock. It'll throw you this little warning, something about don't melt your system. And we'll get into that real quick, but the first thing I need to show you is your memory. So you got CPU first, the graphics card is next, which you can overclock that. And then if you go to the bottom here and scroll over, or if you don't want to do it that way, you could always just make that bigger. Let's get that running at 3200 megahertz. I'm going to show you how to do that. And so the first thing you're going to do is go down and hit restart. And we're going to get our finger on the F2 key. And as soon as it starts to restart, we're going to start mashing on the, not mashing, but starting to press the F2 button over and over again. It doesn't have to be really fast. You don't have to machine gun it, but just if you're not quick, it's going to boot up without going into that. Okay, so here's our BIOS. And in the BIOS, what you want to do is go to Advanced. Then you want to go to Performance Options. Then you want to go to XMP Memory. Got to go XMP2. Then we go down here, Save and Exit. It's going to ask, do you want to save it? Sure do. Shuts down, and it will restart. While it's restarting, I wanted to show you guys, I got something new for the setup, and that would be these speakers here. The Logitech G590, something like that. Comes with a subwoofer, which is down there, and they got these lights on them. They got, each have two lighting zones, one here and then one on the back. I think it's really neat. Myself, there's a little R, an L and an R on a cable. I don't know if you can see that. That's the L, so that's the left. Now you can set the lighting. It comes with this mode where it's like flashing. Every sound that is made, it flashes, which I thought was kind of obnoxious. You'll always notice that my computer usually is on a solid light. I prefer that the most because, like, some people, that you can set it to different things. I'll go into that and make a video about that too, the lighting. But when it's flashing all kinds of different colors, I don't have epilepsy, but I swear it's going to give me a seizure. Okay, so let's go back in the command center. Bring it up. Takes a minute to first load it after you restart. Zoom out here so you can get the whole set. I really love the way this whole thing just, that red, that's really cool. I really wish I could set all the lights with one program, like if Alienware, for example, came out with their own speakers that had RGB. Do I want to make the, yes, okay. That would be cool. Alienware speakers with RGB, sync it all up. Okay, so it's up now. FX, Fusion, blah, blah, blah. So we'll go ahead and expand this, and now you'll see we're right around 3200 megahertz on the RAM. So that's how, if you're not getting what you paid for in terms of RAM speed, that's how you fix that. You have to go to the BIOS to do it. As far as overclocking goes, I've messed around with it a little bit. if you're really not sure about overclocking, I would say you really don't have to do it. It'll give you a slight boost. You probably won't even notice it much. But what I would recommend you actually do is this. You set overclock 2, and you can do that by clicking here. And what you're going to notice is it's going to start ramping up. For these changes to take effect, you need to reboot. We're going to go with, okay, we'll restart it. Come back so you can see those. I really like, for the year I waited to get this machine, I really liked videos that showed it off, showed the color, showed the lighting, showed what it looked like. Those were my favorite kind of videos, where they're not only explaining something to you, they're also like giving you the eye candy. Okay. Any minute now. There we go. Okay. Here we are. Oops, fat fingered it. I really hate that pen. I wish I didn't have to do that, but I guess it's not that big of a deal. Okay, it's gonna load up. Okay, my speakers are red again. I like that. Very red tonight. I kind of like the blue for sort of like if I'm just relaxing, playing a relaxing game, a slow-paced game, but I like the red if I'm really playing a competitive game. It brings out that, you know, let's see here. Fusion. Let's see if it's set. Okay. We were hovering around the high 4s. Now we're at 4.99. Usually it's at 5 gigahertz. Okay, there we are. It got there, 5 gigahertz. If you want to do it in a different way, I recommend if you're new to just do that. But what you could do is hit new profile, and come up with a warning, and we can go into advanced. And what you want to do with all this, it can be overwhelming to someone who doesn't really know what the heck does all this mean. But what you really want to do here is go with yellow. You really don't want to put it in the red, because that can be unstable. You see how there's a little circle, radar circle almost? Set that into the yellow. Is it going to let me do it? No, it's going to bring it down there. Okay. And this, if you brought this up, you're in the green. Of course, the higher you put the voltage, the more heat you're going to generate. You're forcing more voltage into the transistors. You're generating more heat. So you really don't want to go too high. Let's try and cut it down to where it's still green and not yellow. Voltage offset, I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't really know too much about that. Let's leave it right there. Okay, I'm just going to do this. If we have one red, that's fine. But if you go this red and you go this red, you can make your system crash. It's not going to ruin your computer, but it could make it very unstable. So you don't want to do that. I'm going to set that there, and we're going to do this. And then what you can do is you can do test and save, and what that does is runs a little program to see if what you did is going to work, if it's going to be stable, or if it's going to, it'll tell you this isn't recommended, don't do this, stop now while you're ahead. You can hear the machine throttling up really loud. This is much louder than it ever gets, even when playing a game. It's usually it's not anywhere near this loud. To me, this is like really loud. So maybe if you game with headphones and you want to get the maximum thing, okay, this would work. Save as new profile 1. We're just going to go with 5.0. Actually, capitals OC. Save the big 5.0. I always thought that was like a really nice goal to strive forward. Okay. Let's see here. Try this and see what happens. PC needs to reboot. You can already see it's 5.1 in the background. Yeah, later. Let's just do this. For the RAM, really, you're not going to go into advanced view, and or maybe you can. 32 gigahertz. Actually, let's just do, okay, what's it doing now? 29, RAM 2, save changes, later. Oh, I'm gonna reboot it and see if that goes back to 3200. All right, last but not least, the GPU. Power limit, thermal limit. So the thermal limit is at what point does it start throttling? Here it's 83 degrees Celsius, it'll start throttling. We can bring this thermal limit up. You really don't want it to go to 90 degrees. Probably the highest, we'll go right at the edge, living on the edge. 88 degrees, okay. Core clock, yeah, wow. Okay, right on the edge. Memory clock, yeah, right on the edge. Okay, let's run a test to see if it'll pass. You know what I should do is boot up a game before and after and see if it really makes a difference. Maybe I'll do that right now. I'm not going to do that. I gotta get to bed soon. I'm so tired. My guess is you would probably get 10 frames more. Maybe if you pushed every single thing to its limit, maybe you get 20 frames. But I would be very surprised if you get that much. To me, oh, okay, nice. Save as. Overclock -1. Can I combine the two? No, it won't let me combine the two. Odd. Okay, save. Can I put both of those in? No. Okay. Let's just run this. And actually we'll dial it back to where it was. Where it was when we first started. Your PC needs to reboot. Let's do that. Let's reboot it. And while it's rebooting, we're gonna just come down here because it takes a minute. It doesn't usually take that long to reboot, but because I'm fiddling around with stuff, it's gotta reset all that, and that's why it's taking a little bit longer than it usually would. Give you a good look at that 3080 glowing in there. I really like that. I always thought that was cool. I mean, they didn't have to put that in there, but that lighting, but I think it really, especially because it's that like white, bright white light, really looks cool. It's just that wiring in the way. I wish that wiring wasn't in the way. Maybe I can move that. I'll try and move that. Okay, where are we at with this? Rebooting. Yeah, so overall, was it Wednesday? Week and a half in. Still loving it. Still at work, thinking about it. Can't wait to get home, start gaming on it. Okay, so we'll see. It's gonna load this again. See what happens. Where it goes. Where do we go from here? There's Starscream. A lot of the games, my screen name is Starscream. Except, what was it, Battlefield 5? Or no, Call of Duty. For some reason I couldn't choose that. I don't know why. It wouldn't let me choose that. Maybe copyright infringement. Probably not. Okay. Yeah, sure, why not? Okay, so we're gonna go here and see where everything is set to. Fusion. It's going to come up with some sort of warning when it loads. Okay. I'm curious what the memory's at. Why are we back there? We should not be back there. Interesting. Okay, I'll have to play with that some more and try and get it. That's why we're in overclock 1. Don't want to be in there. There's a way to reset this down. I can't remember exactly what I did because I played with this before, but anyway, that's your basic overclocking tutorial. When you guys get your systems, or if you already have them, you can play with it. The bottom line is it really worth it to overclock to try and squeak out every last little frame? To me, no. And just run it, factory settings. It does a pretty good job of dialing everything up. I got Afterburner installed now, looking at everything, and Alienware didn't hold back on that. They didn't leave anything in the tank. You can force it, run hotter, and get a little bit extra. I don't think it's worth it. That's my take on it. But overall, it's pretty neat to have this like suite of software to play with. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you later.